गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर। नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर। भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर। भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर। भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर। भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्य विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंद आदि श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माय की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's see all who's there. Hare Krishna, Indira Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. And Ganga Mataji, pranams to you. Satya Mataji, Radhe Sham, Madhavi Didi, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Gargraj ji, Dandavat Pranam. Bhagavate Achintya Ishwar Buddhi Jar She Janaye Bhagavata Artha Bhakti Sar. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam has... Sorry, let me make this big. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam has inconceivable knowledge of the Supreme Lord. One who knows this knows that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam bestows the essence of devotion to Krishna. Beautiful. Thank you. You can take darshan, Kishore, but right now they're making the offering. So at the end of the reading, when I'll give you darshan. Beautiful Ṭhākura here. Alright, so I'm in the Kolkata Mat. Bhaman Goswami Gaudiya Mat, Maniktala. What am I looking for? Here, let's read the recap of the previous chapter from this book, Bhagavat Pravaha. One second. One second. Just. One second, just. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to let the guy clean this area. Alright, so having described the pastimes of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Shukadeva Goswami began to describe the degraded dynasties of Kali Yuga. He predicted the qualities and activities of future kings of this planet. The kings of Kali Yuga will be barbarians in the guise of kings. They will murder the helpless, covet the wives and property of other men, be erratic in their moods, short-lived, characterless, and covered by passion and ignorance. The citizens will imitate the character, behavior, and speech of their rulers. Harassed by their leaders and by each other, they will suffer ruination. The Iron Age. In the age of Kali, religion, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will all diminish. The principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. Spiritual position will depend only on mere external symbols. Sacred places will be considered as a reservoir of water located at a distance. Okay, any reservoir of water located at a distance will be considered a holy place, right? The real goal of life will be just filling the belly. Wealth alone will be a sign of a man's good birth. Success in business will depend on deceit. One's scholarship will depend only on being clever at juggling words. Hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue, and audacity as truthfulness. Beauty will depend on one's hairstyle, and men and women will live together based on such superficial attraction, and the goal of life will be filling the belly. Law and justice will be based on one's power. Since the rulers will behave like thieves, the citizens will suffer. Harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people will resort to eating objectionable things. Struck by drought, completely ruined, they will suffer from cold, wind, heat, rain, and snow. They will be tormented by quarrels, hunger, thirst, disease, and anxiety. The maximum duration of life will become 50 years. Towards the end of Kali Yuga, the bodies of everyone will be reduced in size, and all the social classes will be reduced to Shudras. Cows will be like goats. People will be like asses. Most plants and herbs will be tiny. Spiritual hermitages will be like mundane houses, and family ties will be no more than immediate bonds of marriage. At that time, Lord Vishnu will appear as Kalki in the village of Shambhala to a Brahmin named Vishnu Yasha. Riding on his horse Devadatta with a sword in hand, he will travel all over earth and will kill all the so-called kings. The death of the impostor kings at the end of Kali Yuga will be accompanied by fragrant spiritual breezes coming from the body of Lord Vasudeva, and that breeze will make the minds of people transcendentally pure. This will mark the beginning of the next Satya Yuga. Inspired by the Lord from within their hearts, the citizens will abundantly repopulate the earth. Devapi, the brother of King Shantanu from the Moon Dynasty, and Maru, the descendant of Ikshvaku from the Sun Dynasty, both possessing great mystic strength and still living in the village of Kalapa, will return and establish the eternal religion again. So now we come to the third chapter, which is the Song of the Earth, lamenting for the foolishness of the kings who were bent upon conquering her mother. Anyways, let's just go to the book. We'll read from this point on. Chapter 3, Description of the Yugas. Just checking the comments. Okay. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
How many devotees that you are? Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, usually like 10?
Huh?
Maybe like, usually like 10, 13?
10,000.
No, live like 10, 13.
10, 13. Only.
But then later, more people watch. Okay, I'm studying. Okay, so starting chapter 3. Shri Shuka Uvacha Drishtvatmani Jaye Vyagran Nripan Hasati Bhur Iyam Aho Ma Vijigingshanti Mrityo Kridanaka Nripaha. Shukadev Goswami said, seeing the kings of this earth busy trying to conquer her, the earth laughed. She said, these kings who are playthings in the hands of death desire to conquer me. Sarartha-darsini by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. The third chapter describes the laughter of the earth, the legs of Dharma, the faults of Kali, and remembrance of the Lord, which destroys the influence of Kali. The end of the last chapter mentions how foolish people try to control the whole earth. This topic is enlarged through the descriptions made by the earth. Ma means me. Kama esha narendrana moghasyar vidushamapi yena phenopame pinde yeti vishrambhita nripaha. The lust of even intelligent kings, by which they put trust in the body that is as transient as bubbles in waters, ends in failure. Sarartha-darsini. By this lust, yena, kings put trust in this body, pinde. Purvam nirjitya sharvargam jeshyamo rajamantrinaha tata shachitva porapta karindran asya kantakan evam kramena jeshyama prithivim sagaramekhalam ityasha baddha hridaya na pashantyanti kentakam. First, I will conquer my senses and mind. Then I will subdue my chief ministers and rid myself of my advisors, citizens, friends, and relatives, as well as the keepers of my elephants and my enemies. In this way, I will gradually conquer the entire earth girdled by the ocean. With their hearts bound by great expectations, they fail to see death waiting nearby. Sarartha-darsini. Lust is shown in two verses. Since no one can be a king while having lust for sense objects, first he must control his senses and mind. Asya Kantakan means enemy kings. Samudra varanam jitva mam vishantyabdimo jasa kiyad atma jayasyaitan muktir atma jaye phalam. After conquering all the land on my surface, they will forcibly enter the ocean. What is the use of a kingdom for a person with control of the What is the use of a kingdom for a person with control of the mind? Liberation is the goal for a person with control of the mind. Somebody who has control of their minds, there's no need for a kingdom or anything else. Their only goal is liberation. Sarartha-darsini. After conquering the earth, they enter the ocean to steal the jewels. Those who want to attain a kingdom by sense control are fools. Yam visrijaiva manavas tatsutascha kurudvaha gata yata gatam yudhe tangmang jeshantya buddhaya. O best of the Kurus, the Manus and their sons, according to their understanding, gave up ruling the earth and went to the forest. But fools will conquer me. Sarartha-darsini. According to their knowledge, Yathagatam, the Manus became detached. They gave up the earth and went to the forest. Those who are foolish will conquer me. Matkrite pitriputranam bratrinam chapi vigraha jayate yasatam rajye mamata bhaddhachetasam. For the sake of conquering me, materialistic persons fight with fathers, sons and brothers. Materialistic persons, they fight with fathers, sons and brothers, because their hearts are bound to possessiveness for the impermanent kingdom. Mamaiveya mahikritsna nate mudheti vadina spardhamana mito gnanti mriyante matkrite nripaha. All this land is mine. It is not yours, you fool. The kings say this. And fighting, they kill or get killed for the sake of possessing the earth. Prittu pururava gadhir nahusho bharatorjuna mandhatta sagaro rama katvango dhundhuha raghu trina bindur yayatischa Sharyati Shantanurgaya Bhagirata Kuvalayashva Kakutsto. No, sorry, I messed up. Bhagirata Kuvalayashva Kakutsto Naishado Nriga Hiranyakashipu Vritro Ravano Loka Ravana Namuchi Shambaro Bhomo Hiranyaksho Tataraka Anye cha bhavo daitya rajano ye maheshwara sarve sarva vidashura sarve sarva jito jitaha mamata maya avartanta kritvo charmartya dharmina kata vashesha kalena ya kritartha krita vibho. Such kings as Prithu, Pururava, Gadhi, Nahusha, Bharata, Kartavirya, Arjuna, Mandhata, Sagar, Rama, Katvanga, Dhundhuha, Raghu, Trinabindu, Yayati, Sharyati, Shantanu, Gaya, Bhagirat, Kuvalayashva, Kakutstha, Naishada, Nriga, Hiranyakashipu, Vritra, Ravana, who made the whole world's lament, Namuchi, Shambara, Bhoma, Hiranyaksha, and Taraka, as well as many other demons and kings who were powerful controllers, were full of knowledge, all conquering, and unconquerable. Nevertheless, O Almighty Lord, they lived their lives intensely trying to possess me. They were not unsuccessful, for they attained their goals fully. But in time, become only oracle accounts. Sarartha-darsini. Sridhar Swami says that Rama, mentioned here, is not the son of Dasharath. It is another king. Those who attain strong possessiveness for me become mere historical accounts by the influence of time. Though in this sense they were unsuccessful in attaining their desires, they remain as stories because of their attainment of qualities and forms. What to speak of latter persons? Latter people were unsuccessful since they did not have full attainment of wealth and other things. Krita means Satya Yuga and Paryapti, according to Amar Kosh, and Paryapti means fullness. Just checking everything's running okay. Hari Bo, Rasai Shri Mataji and Sudevi Didi. Dandavat pranams. Kata imaste katita mahiyasam vita. Sorry. Kata imaste katita mahiyasam vitaya lokeshu yasha pareyusham Vijnana vairagya vivakshaya vibho vacho vibhutir natu paramarthyam. O mighty Parikshit, I have related to you the narrations of all these great devotees who attained the Lord, who spread their fame throughout the world with a desire to speak about their renunciation and their realization of the Lord. I have not spoken to show the power of words, but to give you the highest spiritual knowledge. Sarartha-darsini. The purpose of telling about the dynasties of kings is here explained. What was the purpose of telling about great devotees like Priyavrata, who attained the Lord? The listener should learn about the activities of these devotees, since I had a desire to speak about their realization of the Lord and their renunciation. O Great One, you will also be like them. I have spoken not to show the power of words, but for you to gain the highest spiritual knowledge. Yastuttama shloka gunanuvada sangiyate bhikshnam amangalaghna tameva nityam shinuyad abhikshnam krishne malam bhaktim abhipsama samana. The person who desires pure bhakti to Krishna should hear the narration of the Lord's glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroys everything inauspicious. Sarartha-darsini. Therefore, one should continuously hear stories about these great devotees. But, in talks about the stories of the Lord, one should hear the remarkable excellence in the stories of Krishna's eternal associates, which are superior even to the stories of these great devotees. One who desires pure bhakti should constantly hear the stories revealing the qualities of the Lord, which are found here and there in the other cantos. Let me just reread that. One who desires pure bhakti should constantly hear the stories revealing the qualities of the Lord, which are found here and there in the other cantos, but are everywhere in the 10th canto. Thus, 4 points should be understood. First point is hearing about devotees. Second point, hearing about Krishna's devotees, hearing the Bhagavatam, and hearing the 10th canto. Shirajovacha Kenopayena Bhagavan Kaler Doshan Kalo Jana Vidhamishyantupachitangs Tanme Bruhi Yata Mune. King Parikshit said, My Lord, how will persons living in the age of Kali destroy the heaps of faults of this age? O great sage, please explain this to me exactly. Sarartha-darsini. Vidamishyanti means they will destroy. Yatha means as it is. Yugani yugadharmangscha manam pralaya kalpayo kalaseshvara rupasya gatim vishnur mahatmanaha. Please explain the yugas, their specific qualities, the duration the duration of maintenance and destruction of the universe, and the movement of time, which is the direct representation of the Supreme Lord, the soul of all, Vishnu. Sarartha-darsini. Tell me about the yugas and the duration of maintenance and destruction, pralaya kalpayo. This is not a material question, since time is a representative of the Lord. Okay, so now we're going to hear about the yugas, their specific qualities, the duration and maintenance of the destruction of the universe, and the movement of time, which is a direct representation of the Supreme Lord. Okay. Shri Shuka Uvacha Krite Pravartate Dharmash Chatushpat Tajjanaya Dhrita Satyam Daya Tapodanam Itipada Vibhor Nripa. Oh, I just came across this verse in Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's an explanation of anyways. Shukadev Goswami said, O king, in the beginning, during Satya Yuga, the age of truth, religion is maintained by the people with all four of its legs of truthfulness, mercy, austerity, and cleanliness intact. Sarartha-darsini. First, the characteristics of the yugas are described. Dharma is maintained by the people of Satya Yuga. Dana means socham, since the root dai means to clean, and dana also means cleaning. That is mentioned in the first canto. Okay. Santushta karuna maitra shantadanta statikshvaha atma rama samadrisha prayasha shramana jana. The people of Satya Yuga are satisfied, friendly to all, peaceful, sober, tolerant, and Atma Rama. They see all things equally and endeavor to understand Atma. Sarartha-darsini. Commentary. Shramana means the people are engaged in trying to realize Atma. Tretayam dharmapadanam turyangsho hiyate shanai adharmapadar anrita hingsan santosha vigrahai. In Treta Yuga, each leg of religion is gradually reduced by 1/4 by the influence of the 4 pillars of religion, irreligion. That's lying, violence, dissatisfaction, and quarrel. Sarartha-darsini. Truth is reduced by lying. Mercy is reduced by violence. Austerity is reduced by dissatisfaction. Cleanliness is reduced by quarrel. Interesting, huh? Cleanliness is reduced by quarrel. Very interesting. Tada kriya tapo. And then you just check the comments. God, that was so difficult to read while he was sitting here and having a conversation next to me. I kept on trying to listen to their conversation just naturally, and anyways, I was getting distracted. Okay. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm doing a Chaitanya Bhagavat study thing with my friend Chandrasekhar. We're reading from the Bengali Gaudiya Bhashya, and we were just reading all about this just the other day. Tada kriya taponishta nati hingsra nalampata traivargikas traivridha varna brahmottara nripa. In the Treta age, people are devoted to ritual performances and austerities. They are not excessively violent or very lusty after sensual pleasure. Their interest lies primarily in religiosity, economic development, and regulated sense gratification, and they achieve prosperity by following the prescriptions of the 3 Vedas. Although in this age society evolves into 4 separate classes, O king, Brahmanas are more numerous. Sarartha-darsini. Brahmottara means the Brahmanas are more numerous. Tapa satya daya dane shvardam hrasvati dvapare hingsatush tanrita dveshar dharmasya dharma lakshanai. In Dwapar Yuga, the religious qualities of austerity, truth, mercy, and cleanliness are reduced to one half by their irreligious counterparts. What are they? Dissatisfaction, untruth, violence, and enmity. Sarartha-darsini. The list of adharmas, starting with violence, is not in the same order as the qualities of religion mentioned in the first line. Let's just see. Oh yeah, it is in a different order, isn't it? Tapa, Satya, Daya, Danish. Yeah. Because Hingsa relates to Daya. Atushta relates to Tapa. Anrita, which means... what's Anrita mean? I guess that means untruth. That refers to Satya. And then Dvesha goes to Dana, I guess? Yeah. Okay. I think it's so interesting, though, how there's a correlation between Dana, which means cleanliness, and Dvesha, which means enmity. Like they're opposites. So cleanliness doesn't just mean what I usually think of. Like, it's not just if you take bath and you keep your room clean and all that, but it's also about how you are internally. That's probably the more prominent thing. That's what's being referred to. Yashasvino mahashila swadhyaya dhyayane ratha adhya kutumbino hrishta varna kshatra dvijottara. In the Dwapar age, people are famous and have great qualities. They devote themselves to the study of the Vedas, possess great wealth, support large families, and are joyful. Of the four classes, the Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are most numerous. Kalotu dharma padanam turyangsho dharma hetuvi edhamanaik shiyamano yante sopi vinangshati. In the age of Kali, only 1/4 of the 4 legs of religious principles remains. The last remnant will continuously be decreased by the ever-increasing principles of irreligion and will finally be destroyed. Sarartha-darsini. 1/4 of the legs which cause dharma, 1/4 of the legs which cause dharma remain, and these are destroyed by violence, lying, dissatisfaction, and quarrel. Tasmin lubdha durachara nirdaya shushka vairina durbhaga bhuritarshascha shudra dasottara praja. In the Kali age, people tend to be greedy, ill-behaved, and merciless, and they fight one another without good reason. Unfortunate and obsessed with many material desires, the people of Kali Yuga are almost all Shudras and barbarians. Sarartha-darsini. Shudra dasotra means the Shudras and fishermen are most numerous. Sattvam rajastama iti drishyante purushe guna kala sanchotidaste vai parivartanta atmani. All the material modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are observed within a single person, though he may be prominently of one mode. They are set into motion in the Antakaran by the power of time. The Antakaran is mind, intelligence, right? The heart also, yeah. Sarartha-darsini. Just as planets like the sun have major periods, dasha, and within that period there are minor periods, antardasha. just as planets like the sun have major periods, and within the period there are minor periods of the other planets, so in any particular yuga, the qualities of all four yugas periodically manifest. Thus, even in Kali Yuga, from time to time, there is no decrease in dharma. This is seen in a single person as well. In the antakarana, atmani, of a single person, all the modes come and go periodically. How come they're not translating antakaran? Anyways, it means everything. Let me just sanskritdictionary.com. Okay, antakaran, the internal organ, the heart. Minds, the core of whose heart? The heart, the conscience, the mind, the seat of thought and feeling, the soul, the thinking faculty. Anyway, so that's the idea of antakaran. I guess anta means internal, and karan means like the karan is like the, what do you call it? The doer, kind of. Okay. Karana means instrument. Karan means instrument, so internal instrument. No. Okay. Prabhavanti yada sattve mano buddhindriyani cha tada krita yugam vidyaj jnane tapasya duruchi. When the mind, intelligence, and senses are solidly fixed in dharma without material desires, that time should be understood as Satya Yuga. People then take pleasure in knowledge and austerity. Sarartha-darsini. Now this point is explained. Sattva means in dharma without material desires. Yada karma sukamyeshu bhaktir yashasi dehinam tada treta rajo vrittir iti janihi buddhiman. O most intelligent Parikshit, when the conditioned souls are devoted to dharma with material motives and seek personal prestige, you should understand such a situation to be the age of Treta, in which the functions of passion are prominent. Okay, so Treta is when the conditioned souls are devoted to dharma with material motives and they seek personal prestige. Sarartha-darsini. The people of Treta Yuga have inclination for dharma with material desires. So wait, what was Satya again? Whatever. We'll come to it. Okay, so Satya is when the mind, intelligence, and senses are solidly fixed in dharma without material desires. That's Satya Yuga. And when they are devoted to dharma with material desires and seek personal prestige, that's Treta Yuga. Let's see Dwapar. Yada lobhastva santosho manodambho tamatsara karmanam chapi kamyanam dvaparam tad rajastama. When there is fondness for dharma with material motives and also for adharma, such a time is the age of Dwapar, dominated by the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. At that time, greed, dissatisfaction, false pride, cheating, and envy become prominent. Okay. So the difference between Dwapar and Treta is that in Treta there's no adharma. They perform dharma with material motives, but there's no adharma. But in Dwapar Yuga, it's the same thing. They perform dharma with material motives, but there's also adharma. Sarartha-darsini. Karmanam kamyanam means in dharma with material motives. The word cha indicates they also have fondness for adharma. When there is fondness for dharma with material motives and also for adharma, then know that to be Dwapar Yuga, with the prominence of Rajas and Tamas. In that age, greed and other qualities appear. So in Treta Yuga, there's just a prominence of Rajas, but in Dwapar Yuga, there's a prominence of Rajas and Tamas. Yada maya nritam tandra nidra hingsa vishadanam shokamoha bhayam dainyam sakalistamasa smrita. When people favor only acts of adharma, then it is known as Kali, with a predominance of ignorance. At that time, there are cheating, lying, laziness, sleepiness, violence, depression, lamentation, bewilderment, fear, and poverty. Sarartha-darsini. When people are fond of only adharma, then Kali with prominence of tamas appears, and deceit, lying, etc. appear. Vishadanam means depression. So, difference between Kali and Dwapar is that people only do adharma. There's no dharma with material motives. That's like the predominant. And the predominance is just tama, not raja and tama, just tama. Tasmat kshudra drisho martya kshudra bhagya mahashana kamino vitahinascha svairinyascha striyo sati. Because of the bad qualities of the age of Kali, human beings will become short-sighted, unfortunate, gluttonous, lustful, and poverty-stricken. The women, becoming unchaste, will freely wander from one man to the next. Sarartha-darsini. Now the faults of Kali are described. Tasmat means because of Kali. Tasyutkrishta janapada veda pashanda dushita rajanascha praja baksha shishnodara paradvija. Cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of atheists. Political leaders will consume the citizens, and the Brahmanas will be interested in eating and sex life. Avrata patavo shocha bhikshavaschcha kutumbina tapasvino gramavasa nyasino tyartalo lupaha. The brahmacharis will fail to execute their vows and become unclean. The householders will become beggars. The vanaprasthas will live in the villages, and the sannyasis will become greedy for wealth. Sarartha-darsini. The brahmacharis will not perform their vows and will be unclean. The householders will beg and not give in charity. The vanaprasthas will give up the forest and live in the village, and will show off their austerities to the householders. The sannyasis will attempt to hoard money. Hrasva kaya mahahara bhuryapatya gata hriya shashvat katuk bhashinyas chaurya mayorusahasa. Women will become much smaller in size, will eat too much, have many children, and will be devoid of shyness. They will always speak harshly and will exhibit qualities of thievery, deceit, and unrestrained audacity. Sarartha-darsini. The qualities of women in Kali Yuga are described. Panayashyanti vaikshudra kirata kuttakarina anapadyapi mangsyante vartam sadhu jugupsitam. Petty merchants will earn their money by cheating. Even when there is no emergency, all varnas will consider any degraded occupation as good. Sarartha-darsini. Merchants, after cheating by use of adharma, will carry out transactions. All varnas will consider a despised occupation as good, even when there is no emergency. Patim tyakshanti nirdyavyam britya apya kilottamam brityam vipannam pataya kolam ghash chapayasvini. Servants will abandon a master of the best qualities who has lost his wealth. Masters will abandon an incapacitated servant, even if that servant has been in the family for generations. Cows will be abandoned when they stop giving milk. Sarartha-darsini. Servants and wives will give up masters and husbands of good qualities who have lost wealth. Masters will give up a servant whose forefathers have served the family because he is sick. They will give up cows that do not give milk because they are old. Pitri bhratri suhrij gyatin hitva sorata sohrida nanandri shyala samvada dinastraina kalo nara. In Kali Yuga, men will be wretched and controlled by women, with relationships based on sex life. They will reject their fathers, brothers, other relatives and friends, and will instead associate with the sisters and brothers of their wives. Sarartha-darsini. Nanadri means sister of one's wife. Just checking the comments. Oh, you like the black and white? I prefer the black and white also. I prefer the black and white as well. So I'll start using black and white now instead. I always use dark mode for everything. Shudra prati grahishyanti tapovesho pajivina dharmam vakshanta dharmagya adhiruhyottamasanam. Shudras will accept charity and will earn their livelihood by making a show of austerity and wearing a mendicant's dress. Those who know nothing about religion will mount a high seat and presume to speak on religious principles. Nityam udvigna manaso durbiksha karakarshita niranne bhutale rajan anavrishti bhayatura vasunna panashayana vyavaya snana bhushanai hina pishacha sandarsha bhavishyanti kalo praja. In the age of Kali, people's minds will always be agitated. They will become emaciated by famine and taxation, my dear king, and will always be disturbed by fear of drought. They will lack adequate clothing, food, and drink, will be unable to properly rest, have sex or bathe themselves. They will have sex or bathe themselves. I don't understand that. And will have no ornaments to decorate their bodies. The people of Kali Yuga will gradually appear like ghostly, haunted creatures. Kali Yuga sucks. Kalokan kaki nike pyarte vigrihya tyakta sohrida Dakshyanti cha priyan pranan hanishyanti svakanapi. In Kali Yuga, men will develop hatred for each other even over a few coins. Giving up all friendly relations, they will be ready to lose their own lives and kill even their own relatives. Sarartha-darsini. They will quarrel over 20 cowries. A cowrie is a type of shell used as currency. Na rakshishyanti manuja staviro pitaravapi putran bharyam chakulajam Kshudra Shishno Darambhara. Only interested in food and sex, degraded men will no longer protect their elderly degraded men will no longer protect their elderly parents, or their children, or their respectable wives. Kalo Narajan Jagatan Param Guru. Kalo Narajam Jagatam Param Gurum Trilokanatha Natapada Pankajam Prayena Martya Bhagavantam Yakshanti Pashanda Vibhinna Chetasa. O king, in the age of Kali, people whose intelligence will be diverted by atheism will almost never offer sacrifice to the Supreme Lord, Supreme Guru of the universe, at whose lotus feet the Devatas bow. Sarartha-darsini. After the first Sandhya of Kali has passed, the bad habits become very great. This is explained in 2 verses. Yanamadeyam mriyamana atura patan skalan va vivasho grinan puman vimukta karmar gala uttamam gatim prapnoti yakshanti natam kalo jana. Terrified, about to die, collapsing, with faltering voice, if a person utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the chains of karma and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord, even though it's so easy in this age. Pungsam Kali kritan doshan dravya deshatma sambhavan sarvan harati chittastho bhagavan purushottama. The Supreme Lord, situated in the heart, takes away all the faults created by Kali Yuga by impurity of objects, places, and mind. The Supreme Lord, who's in our heart, he takes away all the faults created by Kali Yuga, all the faults by impurity of objects, places, and mind. Sarartha-darsini. It was asked how the faults of Kali can be removed. This verse answers. The faults are created by lack of purity of objects, places, and mind, but they can all be removed by the Supreme Lord situated in the heart. And how do we worship that Supreme Lord? It says in the previous verse, by uttering the holy name. Shruta sankirtito dhyata pujitascha piva nrinam dhunoti bhagavan hritsto janma yuta shubham. If a person hears about, glorifies, meditates upon, worships, or simply offers great respect to the Supreme Lord who is remembered within the heart, the Lord will remove from his mind the contamination accumulated during many thousands of lifetimes. Sarartha-darsini. Hritsta means the Lord who is remembered in one's heart. By remembrance of the Lord, not only the faults of Kali are removed, but also all reactions to sins committed far in the past and recently. All of them are destroyed. Recent and sins committed in the past. All of that is destroyed. Sorry. Yatahem nistito vahnir durvarnam hanti dhatujam evam atma gato vishnur yoginam ashubhashayam. Just as fire within gold removes any impurities caused by traces of other metals, Lord Vishnu within the heart purifies the minds of the yogis. Sarartha-darsini. Remembrance of the Lord is the only method for purifying the antakaran. Just as fire situated in gold removes the impurities, such as copper mixed with it, whereas water or other substances do not, Vishnu, situated in their hearts, removes all sins in the yogis. This does not take place by yama, niyama, or other processes. That's a really nice example. So to remove the impurities in gold, you can't just remove them with water. You need to burn it with fire, and then all the impurities will come out, right? But so we can only remove our impurities by worshiping Vishnu, not by any other process, which would just be like trying to remove him with water. Vidyatapa prana nirodha maitri tirtabhisheka vratadana japyai natyanta shuddhim lavate taratma yata hridiste bhagavattanante. By one's engaging in the process of devata worship, austerities, breath control, compassion, bathing in holy places, strict vows, charity, and chanting of various mantras, one's mind cannot attain the same absolute purification as that achieved when one remembers the unlimited Lord in one's heart. Sarartha-darsini. This is further described. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hridistam kuru keshavam mriyamano hyavadhitas tato yasi param gatim. Therefore, O king, endeavor with all your might to fix the Supreme Lord Krishna within your heart. You will find the supreme destination from remembering the Lord with attention. You will attain the supreme destination from remembering the Lord with attention. Sarartha-darsini. Since persons like Ajamil remember the Lord without being attentive, you will certainly attain the Lord from remembering him with attention. How many verses are in this chapter? 52. Okay, we're almost done. Kishore, sorry. Mriyamaner avidheyo Bhagavan Parameshwara Atma Bhavam Nayatyanga Sarvatma Sarvasangshaya. O King, the Supreme Lord, the ultimate controller, the soul of all beings, and the supreme shelter of all beings, when meditated upon by dying persons, gives them prema for himself. When the Lord is meditated upon by dying persons, he gives prema to that person. Sarartha-darsini. If dying people can meditate on the Lord, he will make them attain prema for himself. How does the Lord know that they are meditating on him? The Lord is the soul of all. Others may not know, but the Lord knows. The Lord knows that they are meditating on him. Why does the Lord give prema just for meditating on him once? He is the shelter of all beings. Thus, from him arise all sadhans and all results of sadhana. Thus, from the Lord arise all sadhans and all results of sadhans. What is so remarkable about this for the Lord who is so magnanimous? Oh, we come to this verse. This is one of the most famous verses from the 12th canto. We learned this in the Mat. All the brahmacharis had to learn this verse. Kaler dosha niderajan asti hyeko mahan guna kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangam param vrajet. Mukta sangam param vrajet. O King, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting about Krishna, one can become free from material bondage and attains prema. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sarartha-darsini. Now it is said that Kali is the best of all yugas in 2 verses. Though Kali is an ocean of faults, one good quality prevails like a king. As one king alone kills many thieves, this one good quality destroys all the bad faults of Kali just mentioned. What is that quality? From chanting alone, by engaging in Nam Sankirtan, by engaging in Kirtan, which is not dependent on meditation or other processes, one attains the highest human goal, prema. Or chanting alone produce results. Whatever. What to speak of combining meditation with chanting? Oh, just chanting alone produces results. What to speak of combining meditation with chanting? And this is also a very famous verse. Krite yadhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makai dvapare paricharyayam kalotadhari kirtanat. Whatever results was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by deity worship, all these results can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting about the Lord. Thus ends the commentary on the third chapter of the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. So if you don't know these two verses yet, I highly recommend you memorize them. Kaler dosha nide rajan asti heko mahan kuna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangam param brajet kritya yadhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makai dvapare paricharyayam kalo tad hari kirtanat. Really? Jiva Goswami says in his commentary that Kali Maharaj loves Sankirtan. I thought he wouldn't like Sankirtan because it obstructs him. But cool. Hare Krishna. Speaking of Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shishi. I'll give you darshan of Thakurji also after this. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sar Shila Jagdas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nagogoriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Shar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Avishya Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Radha Kund Shama Kund Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Shri Bhuvan Mangal Kari Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. Oh, I'll give you darshan of Ṭhākura here. 1 second. Look, this is, we're just right outside of a gas station. Let's see. So here is our Shishi Radha. Oh no, it's backwards here. Anyways, there's my Gurudev and Srila Vāman Goswami Maharaj on both sides, and then Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari, Giriraj Govardhan Mahaprabhu. Yep, that's Vāman Goswami Gaudiya Math. Alright everybody, thank you so much for joining. I'll see you all tomorrow for, what's the next chapter? Let's see. I'm just looking really quick. The next chapter is 4 types of destruction. Okay? Alright, Hari Bol everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe.